Good day. Welcome to the 2025 Financial Transparency Analysis of the Armenian Presbyterian Church in Paramus, New Jersey. On May 1st, 2026, Khachgar Studios unveiled a new world-class template for U.S. Armenian Church's annual financial transparency. Across religious, government, and business sectors in the U.S., financial transparency builds trust and confidence, and the U.S. Armenian religious sector is no different. Transparency, accountability, and performance support biblically inspired world-class benchmarking and management excellence known as the framework. The Armenian Presbyterian Church is a pilot church in Khachgar Studios' initiative to increase the number of U.S. Armenian Sunday Church parishioners, the faithful, by 100%. Churches that embrace this template can be recommended as pilot candidates to help double the U.S. Armenian faithful in 5 years. Pilot candidates can be recommended by individuals or groups. Khachgar Studios strongly recommends that all Armenian leaders seriously study the template, the framework, and TAP. The comprehensive analysis based on Khachgar Studios' template has 4 takeaways. Takeaway number 1, the U.S. and New Jersey church attendance crisis, actuals, misconceptions, and rankings. Takeaway number 2, 2025 financial transparency profile. Takeaway number 3, the biblically inspired world-class benchmarking and management excellence framework, transparency, accountability, and performance, TAP. Takeaway number 4, pilot candidates, materials, and management best practices. This is a data-driven call to action. Let's begin. Takeaway number 1 examines the U.S. and New Jersey failing ecosystem for church attendance, focusing on actuals, misconceptions, and rankings. This is where we confront the hard data on who is actually showing up on non-holiday Sundays. Let's begin with the reality of verifiable evidence integrity without fear. U.S. faithful refers to the total number of individuals of all ages present in the sanctuaries of all 164 Armenian churches during sermons on non-holiday Sundays based on on-site, in-person, and photo-verified field research. The Khachgar Studios numbers are from actual non-holiday Sunday visits to 106 Armenian churches in the largest U.S. states, which have 95% of the Armenian U.S. census population. The evidence is clear and exposes the highly destructive, massive systemic misconception. There are only 23,964 pew seats at fire code capacity. And there were only 12,894 non-holiday Sunday attendees, the faithful, our key performance indicator number 1. With the U.S. Census number of 460,254 Armenians, the faithful percentage is a shockingly meager 2.8%. Yes, 2.8%. And if you use the often repeated 1 million U.S. Armenians, the percentage is 1.3%. Take your choice, 2.8% or 1.3%. Let's go right to the heart of this takeaway. A highly destructive, massive, systemic misconception perpetuated by the most widely cited U.S. Armenian sampling surveys and leaders. The most widely cited U.S. Armenian sampling survey reports church attendance rates at 35% for both the total population and 35% for those up to 34 years of age. We've had countless conversations with Armenian senior religious leaders who believe both that the non-holiday attendance is on average 30% plus of the total population, and that the U.S. census of 460,000 Armenians is understated and the real number is 1 million plus. Doing second grade math, the actual faithful percentage is 2.8%. Now, if you use the U.S. census of 460,000 Armenians, not 30%, not 35%, 2.8%. This slide ranks all 25 states by faithful as a percentage of the U.S. Census Armenian population. The total U.S. numbers, 12,894 faithful out of 460,254 Armenians. That's 2.8%, or 1.3% if you use the 1 million unofficial estimate. When pilot churches create their transparency reports, they will see where their state ranks in this comparison and how their parish contributes to those numbers. This template now demonstrates how to benchmark our church's performance using our reference case. New Jersey's 9 Armenian churches combined, we see a median non-holiday faithful of 1,010. With 15,243 Armenians in New Jersey, according to the 2020 U.S. Census, the combined faithful represents 6.6% of the Armenian population, while fire code capacity utilization rates sits at 63%. For the youngest generation, 18 to 29-year-old female faithful, there are only 30 across all nine churches, representing just 2.5% of that age group in New Jersey, 1,219 individuals. Compare this to U.S. Protestant and Catholic benchmarks of 31% to 32%, and the scale of this opportunity becomes clear for any church using this template. Parish world-class financial transparency is especially essential in New Jersey, as the Armenian population growth has been minimal at only 7% since 1980. In 1980, 14,299 Armenians. In 2020, 15,243, an increase of 944 people. New Jersey has the 4th slowest growing Armenian population among all U.S. states. Meanwhile, all other states combined grew 124%, from 198,322 to 445,011, gaining 246,689 people. When a community is stagnant, every faithful member matters more. When a community is growing, the opportunity to capture that growth is unprecedented. Either way, excellence is the only path forward. We now turn to takeaway number 2, a sample financial transparency profile. This is where we demonstrate the template framework using a reference case study to show how any church can examine its financial strength, spending patterns, and performance in detail.
This is the heart of takeaway 2, the Armenian Presbyterian Church's 2025 financial transparency profile with 12 key metrics that tell the story of this parish. Let us walk through the framework. Financial assets stand at $4,225,677 versus the Orthodox benchmark of $1,114,028. Financial assets per faithful are $66,026 against a benchmark of $4,207. The total income as a percentage of total spending is 229% versus 110%. Church-related income grew at 11% annually from 2020 to 2025 compared to 8% for the benchmark, while total spending grew at 5% versus 7%. Church-related income covers 54% of spending versus 89% for the benchmark. The faithful metrics reveal the opportunity. Spending per faithful, $7,626 versus a benchmark of $2,133. The number of faithful, KPI number 1, stands at 64 against a benchmark of 137 and grew by 8 from 2024 to 2025, while the benchmark grew by 24. The 18 to 29-year-old female faithful, KPI number 2, is 3 versus 12. Faithful as a percentage of the fire code capacity is 48% against 69%, and the SROI is 2.6 times compared to 9.4 times for the benchmark. The numbers speak clearly. The Armenian Presbyterian Church has financial health, strong income growth, and a premier location in the heart of New Jersey's University District. The opportunity is urgent and clear. Invest this financial strength in targeted outreach to capture the faithful in your own backyard. Students, young professionals, and families surrounding you represent extraordinary untapped potential. This slide examines the correlation between total spending per faithful and faithful. as a percentage of capacity across 37 U.S. Armenian parishes. That's 23% of all 164 churches. The correlation is moderately negative at minus 45%, 0.45%. The Armenian Presbyterian Church's position, total spending per faithful, is $7,626, ranking 11th out of 37. Faithful as percentage of capacity is 48%, ranking 16th out of 37. The median spending per faithful is $5,588. The median capacity utilization is 43%. What the numbers show, the Armenian Presbyterian Church spends $7,626 per faithful with 48% capacity utilization for 64 faithful and fire code capacity, allowing significantly more. There is untapped capacity. The data reveals the gap. The Armenian Presbyterian Church operates at 48% capacity and a premier location surrounded by multiple universities, yet the 18 to 29-year-old female faithful stands at just 3, versus a benchmark of 12. This location presents a measurable opportunity to close this gap through targeted outreach to the university population in our immediate vicinity. The slide shows the budgeting accuracy of the Armenian Presbyterian Church. 2025 total income was 13% below the budget, while total spending was 7% below the budget. 2026 budget projects a decrease in total income to $833,133 and an increase in total spending to $507,110, representing a 28% decrease and 9% increase. Respectively, over the 2023 to 2025 median, this is a financial management that plans, measures, and adjusts. We now arrive at takeaway number 3, the biblically inspired world-class benchmarking and management excellence framework, transparency, accountability and performance, or TAP. This is the foundation for sustainable growth that every church using this template must embrace. As we continue, let's discuss world-class benchmarks in the financial discipline of biblically inspired transparency, accountability, and performance, TAP. In growing the faithful, the importance of TAP is foundational cornerstone. We cannot stress the importance of financial discipline enough. We share with you the names and logos of those who are world-class benchmarks in TAP and in the Judeo-Christian sector: Orthodox Ministry Services, OMS, Catholic Leadership Institute, CLI, and the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability, ECFA, offer high-value added advice on the path to revitalization. Ministry Watch, Voice of the Faithful, Orthodox Church of America, and the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America each offer important best practices broadly applicable to TAP. We also highlight 20 Orthodox parishes that publish publicly either high-quality annual reports or IRS Form 990 filings, plus 6 HotSmart Studio pilot churches that have set world-class benchmarks with dedicated transparency web pages, 5-year financial reviews, best practice metrics, financial presentation slides, SROI disclosure, and video financial presentations. These pilots use a phone app to count Sunday faithful in real time, publish weekly numbers across social media platforms, and are building world-class growing faithful outreach teams. Premier organization, including Pew Research Center, Hartford Institute for Religious Research, and the Association of Statisticians for American Religious Bodies, consistently describe Sunday attendance as the first and most important indicator of church performance. We provide quotations from highly respected sources. The leading Orthodox advisor captures the universal view. Sunday church attendance for Orthodox Christian leaders in America is the sun and the moon of why we exist. It's the starting point for every decision. 6 world-class benchmark pilot churches, including 3 Armenian churches, publish Sunday attendance using a mobile app and display these numbers prominently in bulletins and across all 6 media platforms. And finally, we reach takeaway number 4, how your church can become a pilot candidate. This is where vision meets action, where opportunity meets commitment, and where the path forward is clearly defined. The Armenian Presbyterian Church is a pilot church and HotSmart Studios initiative to increase the number of U.S. Armenian Sunday church parishioners, the faithful, by 100%. This template introduces the extraordinary opportunity now available at churches committed to helping grow the number of U.S. Armenian church Sunday parishioners by 100%. Pilot candidates can be recommended by individuals or groups. All pilots must enthusiastically embrace the best practices of the framework, commit to being coached to achieve the extraordinary benefits. The funding opportunity of this initiative is historically unprecedented. It's performance-based. It's not a passive role. It calls for commitment, discipline, and a genuine willingness to lead by example. Your parish is ready to embrace the world-class financial transparency and a 7-step framework you can apply to become a pilot candidate.
Let us now connect the extraordinary benefits to one of the most powerful drivers of growth in the faithful, financial transparency. The title says it clearly. U.S. Catholic Parish financial transparency is one of the strongest predictors of whether parishioners recommend their parish. These results are based on a 2025 survey of 35,000 U.S. Catholic parishioners, providing a strong example of world-class benchmarking. Two key takeaways. First, the relationship between financial transparency and parishioner recommendation is very strong, with a positive correlation of 0.94. Second, results do not vary significantly by age, gender, household income, or giving. The data shows in parishes with no financial transparency, results split evenly. 20% strongly do not recommend and 20% strongly recommend. In parishes with excellent financial transparency, the results are dramatically different. 0% do not recommend and 87% strongly recommend. This directly supports the framework churches will adopt when using this template. Only those willing to work for financial discipline at a world-class level should apply and expect to succeed as pilot candidates. We continue with one of the most important takeaways on this journey, the mnemonic benefits. This captures the extraordinary benefits from financial discipline with world-class benchmarking and management excellence, the framework. B is to practice biblically inspired financial wisdom. E is to educate communities never taught financial discipline. N is to attract high-value new faithful. E is to build environments of trust and confidence, not dysfunction. F is to strengthen financial position and performance. I is to anchor community identity in intellectual integrity. T is to base decisions on track records and evidence. S is to develop high value, lead by example stewards. As the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability reminds its 2,500 members, accountability accelerates biblical wisdom. The Catholic Leadership Institute asks 3 powerful questions. Are you aware? Do you care? Will you dare? We now arrive at SROI, social return on investment, a concept new to many, yet a cornerstone of best practice in financial and faith performance management. The math for 2026, average non-holiday Sunday attendees, known as the faithful, multiplied by 20,000 divided by total annual spending. It measures how effectively spending strengthens faith and builds community. The framework grows each year, adding new KPIs through 2030. Your church will calculate its own SROI using this proven methodology. Now let's review the 7 steps U.S. Armenian churches are taking to grow by 100% the number of faithful in the next 5 years. These are the steps your parish will commit to as a pilot candidate. Step 1, use Khachgar Studio's free Sunday attendance counter app each week. Step 2, publish weekly attendance, KPI 1 and KPI 2, prominently across bulletins and all 6 social media platforms. Step number 3, post weekly Saturday, bring a friend, bring a family member invitation videos across all 6 social media platforms, 52 weeks each year. Step number 4, build and implement monthly outreach plans to increase the faithful across two groups, ages 18 to 29 and 30 and above. With the first 4 steps in place, we can progress to the 3 financial transparency steps. Step 5, historical and projected. A 5-year look back and forward view. Transparently share 5-year historical and projected financial and attendance data with your community and public. Step 6, financial audit transparency. Transparently share independently audited financial statements and attendance findings with your community and the public. Step 7, monthly ongoing accountability. Transparently share monthly financial updates with your community and the public. These are the 7 steps that close the performance gap and every day bring U.S. Armenian churches closer to the goal of 100% increase in faithful in the next 5 years. Before examining the specific steps the Armenian Presbyterian Church has been taking, we must address a fundamental question. How does priest or pastor time allocation determine whether a church will grow or decline? Culture and relative churches allocate 75 to 85% of time to basic obligations, 10 to 15% to reactive crisis management, 0 to 10% to outreach for new faithful, and 0% for benchmarking and management excellence training. Gospel and growth churches operate differently. 45 to 50% spend their time on basic obligations, 5 to 10% on reactive crisis management, 25 to 30% on outreach for new faithful, and 15 to 20% on benchmarking and management excellence training. The question for every parish is which model describes your current reality and which will you choose for your future? This is accountability in action. The Armenian Presbyterian Church tracks attendance every Sunday using the Khachkar Studios Counter app. This is step number 1 in practice. Honest data collection every single week with nothing hidden. When you measure consistently, patterns become visible. When patterns become visible, strategy becomes possible. The Counter app transforms vague impressions into a concrete reality. This slide shows the Armenian Presbyterian Church's complete record of weekly Sunday invite videos. 24 weeks of bring a friend, bring a family member videos posted across all social media platforms. This is step number 3 in action. Every single week, without fail, the invitation must go out. The discipline is the message, and the consistency builds the culture. The invitation extends into the physical fabric of community life. These bring a friend, bring a family member t-shirts turn parishioners into walking ambassadors of invitation. When members wear these t-shirts to work, at the gym, on campus, the message moves from the bulletin into daily life. Simple, bold, visible, effective. The Armenian Presbyterian Church has not committed to full monthly transparency yet. This slide shows the example of a benchmark. The Holy Cross Armenian Catholic Church in Belmont, Massachusetts. The letter announces that all financial income and expenses will be made publicly available on the church website, and Sunday attendance will be posted weekly. The theological foundation is clear. As our Lord taught us in Luke 8:17, there is nothing hidden that will not become known and come to light. This is what leadership looks like when it moves from rhetoric to action, when transparency becomes policy, and when accountability becomes culture.
Transparency isn't real until it's accessible. Notice the navigation bar about worship, fellowship, education, ministries, giving, partnerships, and financial. One click away, no password required, public, accessible, transparent financial information available to anyone. Love demonstrated not just in liturgy, but in practical work of financial accountability. Here is the financial page itself, the complete 5-year financial review and budget, displayed as a single downloadable document. No summaries, no selective highlights, no spin. A full balance sheet, income statement, and comparisons to benchmarks, all available for anyone to review. This is excellence and transparency. We now arrive at the Armenian Presbyterian Church's greatest strategic opportunity, the Fertile Crescent. Within a 25-minute radius of the Armenian Presbyterian Church lies a dense concentration of 10 universities, forming the most strategic spiritual growth in New Jersey. The corridor represents one of the highest concentrations of Armenian young adults in the United States within transit distance. Reaching them is not a nice to have, it is now or never opportunity. 10 universities sit within 25-minute car ride of the Armenian Presbyterian Church. The median distance is 14 miles. The median travel time by car is 24 minutes. Fairleigh Dickinson University, 6 miles, 15 minutes away. Felician University, 6 miles, 18 minutes away. William Patterson University, 11 miles, 20 minutes away. Many Armenian students are concentrated in this prestigious academic corridor in the United States. Most have no idea an Armenian church sits minutes away. You know any Armenian students, teachers, or staff at any of their New Jersey metro area universities? Please let Reverend Joseph know. This is where strategy becomes personal, where data becomes relationships, and where the faithful become ambassadors. Every connection becomes a bridge to the next generation. This table shows the 34 pilot candidate churches and ministries receiving funding from Hotchkiss Studios through May of 2026, totaling $1,014,301. The Armenian Presbyterian Church ranks 9th at $52,600, representing 6% of total funding. What unites these 34 pilot candidates is not denomination, but commitment. Counting the faithful, publishing numbers, and practicing financial transparency. Although the Armenian Presbyterian Church has already received significant funding, the potential is still immense to reach the #1 spot. All it takes is executing the 7 steps. Using a counter app, publishing weekly attendance, posting invitation videos, implementing monthly outreach plans, sharing 5-year historical and projected data, publishing independently audited financials, and providing monthly updates. This is a performance-based investment demanding accountability at every level. This diagram illustrates a common dynamic in religious and nonprofit ecosystems. High confidence coexisting with objectively measured bottom decile performance. Progress follows 4 stages. Peak of mount, worst practices. Leaders extol failure as best practice due to ignorance, laziness, and conflicting self-interest. Value of reality. Understanding you're among the worst performers and it will take hard work using a framework to improve. Slope of KPI improvement. Progressively improving performance by managing with KPIs and SROIs as a part of the framework. Pinnacle of continuous improvement. Pervasively ingrained culture of monthly, quarterly, and annual management anchored in the framework. The faster an organization reaches the valley of reality and begins climbing the slope of KPI improvement, the faster the ascension to the pinnacle of continuous improvement. Before we conclude, we encourage you to review these 8 documents available on the Hotchkiss Studios website to help you quickly recognize and overcome potential hostile barriers to change. Item #1 is the ecosystems map, which identifies 12 body parts of the failing U.S. Armenian Christian ecosystem, currently underperforming with extraordinary potential, including the shocking reality that only 3% of U.S. Armenians are faithful. Item 2 is the Dunning-Kruger diagram we just reviewed. Items 3 through 6 are infinite SROI memos on why 68 years of zero transparency, inflicted self-interest, the true cost of concealment, 25 examples of self-conflict of interest. Item 7 covers financial IQ and financial training assessment materials. Item 8 is for those who want to dig deep into the financial discipline, biblically inspired world-class benchmarking and management excellence. 400-page seminal masterpiece, New Philanthropy Benchmarking, Wisdom for the Passionate, often called NPB. Discover the high value, add insights in NPB, visit the attached link. If you want additional detail, we recommend checking the financial overview on both the Hodgkin Studios website and the Armenian Presbyterian website. This slide provides a complete 5-year financial review and a 2026 budget for the Armenian Presbyterian Church. The SROI is 2.6 times, compared to a benchmark of 9.4 times. Financial assets grew at an annual rate of 9% from 2020 to 2025, reaching $4,225,677. Church-related income grew at 11% annually, reaching $264,203 in 2025. Total spending was $488,000 in 2025, with a 5% annual growth rate from 2020 to 2025. Church-related income as a percentage of spending is 54% versus an 89% benchmark. Spending per faithful is $7,626 compared to a $2,133 benchmark. The number of faithful is 64, which is an increase from 8 in 2024 to 2025. Conclusion, once again, good financial health with some attendance growth. Let us bring our template framework together. First, only 3% of U.S. Armenians are faithful. The widespread belief that attendance is 35% has been shattered with verified data. Second, this template demonstrates how to present any church's financial profile using 12 key metrics, showing how to translate financial capacity into growth. Third, the framework transparency, accountability, performance. This data shows a 0.94 correlation between financial transparency and parish recommendation. Excellence drives growth. Fourth, 7 steps any church can take to double the faithful in 5 years. Weekly tracking, transparency, monthly reporting. The question is not whether it is possible, the data proves it. The question is whether parishes have the will to embrace world-class standards. The opportunity is historic, the funding is unprecedented, the time is now. Thank you.